Welcome to the overview on the advanced surface detection and configuring model behaviors. The presentation is divided into two parts. This is the first part. In this video we will focus on the settings available in the Augment Manager to restrict the placement of a model on a surface type or to control its behavior when it switches from one type to another. From version 5.0 of the Augment app, new surfaces can be detected and used to place models. Surfaces are planes scanned by the environment that we can be sorted into three types. The first type concerns upward surfaces such as floors, tables or furniture. They are the most common places to put objects in everyday life. The second type is for vertical surfaces like walls, doors or windows that you can attach decorations and paintings to. The third type is that of downward surfaces. It is mainly the ceiling where you can hang chandeliers, but it can also be the underside of the shelves. New types of surfaces introduce new ways of placing virtual objects, as they don't always rest on the surface as they once did. In this context, the Augment application exposes new parameters to refine the behavior of your models on different surfaces and match your natural expectations. You will find the new settings in the editor available in the Augment Manager. Let's take a look. In the Augment Manager, we are going to edit the parameters of some models. To access it, click on the Edit button. A new panel has been added to the editor menu. You can see that it is the behaviors of the model in the Augment R application. Two settings can be set to define the placement on surfaces. The first, called Allowed Surfaces, lists the types of surfaces that can carry the model. There are three values corresponding to the three types that we have previously seen. The second parameter, called Transition Behavior, determines how the model reacts when it goes from an horizontal surface to a vertical surface. Only one of three values can be chosen here. Let's focus on the different values and their meaning. The three values of the parameter allowed surfaces are floor and similar horizontal surfaces, vertical surfaces, and ceiling and similar horizontal surfaces. Floor and similar horizontal surfaces are all the surfaces facing upwards where you can lay a model such as room's floor, grass field, tables, the top of a cabinet, etc. On this type of surface the model always rests on its underside and rotates around its vertical axis only. Vertical surfaces are mainly walls, doors, windows or flat fronts of furniture. The part of the model in contact with the surface may change and become the back face. We'll see how to determine that in a minute. In all cases the model rotates around an axis perpendicular to the surface. Ceiling and similar horizontal surfaces group together the ceiling of a room or surfaces facing downwards. The model is positioned there thanks to its upper face and rotates around its vertical axis only. As you can see, the model's contact surface changes with the type of environment surfaces to maintain the notion of gravity. This way the model can always be designed in a natural position. By default, all options are selected, which means that you can place the model on any surface. The second parameter, Transition Behavior, fixes how a model moves during the change of surfaces. The three possible values are aligned, standing and fixed. The aligned value is for objects that must lie on the surface like a rug or poster. The bottom of the model is always used as the contact surface and the model automatically rotates to accommodate the orientation of the surface. Then you are free to rotate the model around its axis. The standing and fixed values relate to objects that must keep their global orientation regardless of the surface on which they are placed. This is often the case with models that can be used on both horizontal and vertical surfaces such as a flat screen TV or shelves. In this case the back face of the model is used as the contact surface. The difference between the two options is manual rotation, which is not allowed for the fixed value. This keeps the horizontal parts of the model as they are when you move it on a vertical surface. The default value for the parameter is standing, which is the most common behavior. The following illustration summarizes the effect of the three options when you move a model to a vertical surface then try to rotate it. Let's go back to the Augment Manager to customize our different models. Our coffee machine can only be placed on a table, so we deselect the last two options to only allow horizontal surfaces facing upwards. We keep the transition behavior unchanged. It has no influence because we cannot move the model on vertical surfaces. We save and continue with the next model. The red and white shelf is the typical kind of objects that can be placed on a wall. We don't want to put it on furniture, so we only select vertical surfaces. For the transition behavior we are going to select the fixed value to keep the parts on which the objects rest perfectly horizontal. We could have chosen the standing value to be able to rotate the shelf in different configurations and be more original, but no, we just don't want. We save and continue. Our painting is another object intended to be hung on a wall. Unlike the shelf, we select the aligned option as the value of the transition behavior parameter. This is because the painting was designed horizontally, as can be seen in the viewer. So in order for it to be well positioned against a wall, we need it to line up with the surface. A chandelier can only be placed on the ceiling. We deselect the other options, which concludes the configuration because the transition behavior is not relevant here. All the models we have configured so far are limited to one type of surfaces. We are now going to edit two objects that will be placed on a table or a wall. The first one is a hat that is used as decoration. We keep the two types of surfaces that interest us. Next, we select the aligned option as the transition behavior value to keep the hat hanging correctly on the wall. The second model is a curved screen. The curved screen can rest on a piece of furniture or be mounted on a wall, but we don't want it to be hung on the ceiling, so we deselect the option. In both cases allowed, the orientation of the model remains unchanged and we don't want to rotate it at all. We set the transition behavior with the value which matches these expectations. This concludes the first video on surface detection. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we will create AR sessions with the models that we have configured, and you will learn how to filter the detected surfaces to easily place them. To explore other topics, visit our help center at help.augment.com.